What's happening, real outdoors enthusiasts? Well, today we are going to talk about this, the Hyperlite Mountain Gear 4400 Windrider. Before we get too far into it, I just want to mention this is a new pack. So I'm calling this a first look. I'm kind of going over the details. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I picked this as my next backpacking backpack. It's not really what I would call a review because I haven't had the chance to really use it yet, other than just loading it up and hiking around the neighborhood or on local trails and things like that. I haven't really done a backpacking trip with it. I'm just going to kind of go over why I selected this, why I went with the 4400 over one of the other Hyperlite Mountain Gear backpacks, kind of the specifications, and really just give you an idea of what this pack is all about and what it means for me. Let's start by jumping into some of the basic specifications on this pack. I wrote them down so I wouldn't get them wrong and catch a lot of heck down in the comments. This is the white backpack. There's a difference in weight between the white and the black. You only have those options with the Hyperlite Mountain Gear, either white or black. The black is a little heavier. I assume that's because the dye adds a little bit of weight, but we're going to talk exclusively about the white, and that's what I have noted down for this video. This is the 4400, which is their 70-liter pack. It weighs 2.43 pounds or 39.02 ounces. That's 1,106 grams. Just as a comparison, the next one down, the 55-liter, which I also considered the 3400 Windrider, weighs 1.98 pounds or 31.82 ounces or 902 grams. You're talking about a difference of right at 7 ounces heavier to jump up to the 70-liter. And that was really big reason that I went with the 70-liter, the 4400 versus the 3400. I know the 3400 one is really popular and a lot of people have it, and that's more than enough for most people. But for that extra 7 ounces, I wanted to jump up to the 70-liter because I wanted that space available, because I tend to go on hikes with the Scouts a lot, which means I end up carrying a lot of extra gear to have on hand to keep the Scouts safe. Or I go on high adventure trips like Philmont or Northern Tier, where we're carrying a lot of crew gear among all of us. So I'm sharing that weight in addition to what I'm carrying. So I wanted that extra capacity. That was a big part of the reason I went with the 4400. Speaking of capacity, this is also one of the only ultralight backpacks I've found that could hold a reasonable amount of weight. Most of them are really low, like 25 pounds, 30 pounds, 20 pounds even. Very low load capacities with the ultralight backpacks. I wanted to get the weight off the pack because that's about the only thing I have left that I can lose weight on and still be comfortable and not really going the ultralight route, was in my pack. I considered the Osprey Exos. One of my friends used it last year at Philmont. It worked really well for him. I love Osprey products, but I also really wanted to try a Dyneema backpack, which is what this Hyperlite is. And I'm really happy with it. It's super, super comfortable, super, super durable. Also mostly waterproof, so I'm not even gonna carry a pack cover with me when I use this pack. But it also has a load capacity of 60 pounds, which is pretty much unheard of in this Dyneema pack category. So that was a big reason that I went with the 4400 over the 3400. I wanted that extra weight capacity as well. Even though I don't think I'll ever get anywhere near 60 pounds, I wanted to know that it was capable of handling those heavy loads if I needed it to. Interior capacity, it's basically just one big tube, and I'll show that to you in a bit. But the interior is 70 liters, or 4,400 cubic inches. That's where you get the Windrider 4400. This exterior pocket here, it says, is 9.8 liters or 600 cubic inches. That's a big mesh pocket. That'll hold a lot of stuff. In fact, I think I can fit my whole tent in there. If my tent were wet and I didn't want to throw it in the pack right away, I could throw that back here, and since it's mesh, that would really help it dry out fast. These side pockets are 150 cubic inches each. I have my water bottle in there now. Actually can fit my sleeping pad in the other side, which is typically what I'm doing. Now I can put that away, now that I got all those numbers out of the way. So let's talk about the pack a little more. All those specs about top circumference, bottom circumference, internal capacity, things like that, didn't really mean a whole lot to me until I got it. I have to say, when I first got this pack, it seemed enormous to me. And I'm just gonna unroll it real quick and show you next to my body. I'm almost 6 feet tall. And this is the pack fully unrolled. And you can see it comes up to my belly button. Super tall, and look at how wide it is. Super, super wide. I mean, that is a big pack. But the beauty of it is, it's a roll top. So you just roll it down, press that air out of it, and it comes down to like a normal size tent or normal size pack. This is another thing I really liked about the Hyperlite versus like maybe the Z packs. Instead of taking these and doing like this, buckling up here, they buckle down the sides, and then they have these compression straps on the sides where you can really, really tighten that top down. And then you have this on top where you can snap that and compress it down even further. Now I have 2 tents, a hammock, a camp chair, a bag full of miscellaneous stuff, my tarp, tent stakes. I basically just put stuff in there that I don't have to worry about compression issues. You know, like sleeping bags and things like that. I don't want to compress my insulation, so I don't want to keep them packed in here. But everything else that I usually take camping with me, I put in here just to add some weight, because I've been carrying it around and hiking and rucking around on trails just to get used to it and make sure I'm happy with the pack. The other thing this top strap is good for, if you open it all the way up, you can actually fit a bear canister in here, or like your sleeping pad could go up here, and then you could strap it down on top of the pack. You can see there is one little daisy chain loop. I keep my carabiner on here. This is my carabiner that I use for bear bags, and so that's always with my pack, and so I just keep that clip there. And then this I can also use to clip on my camp shoes, so they clip right there onto that carabiner. Could even shove them down inside of this mesh pocket. And then on the sides here, it's got compression straps so you can compress the pack itself, so you could tighten even the load that direction, or you could use that to store, you know, sleeping pad, trekking poles, or whatever you want with that. So it's got those straps there too. It's got these here where you could add more strapping to go around this pocket or to hold more stuff on the outside. And then it's got standard sewn in hip belt. This is not a removable hip belt. That's one thing that's different with the Hyperlite Mountain Gear. And then it's got waterproof hip belt pockets. They're not super huge, but they will fit my phone. I'll probably keep a few little snacks in there, lip balm, things like that, things that I use on the regular when I'm actually hiking on the trail. It's got the standard sternum strap with a whistle like most sternum straps do. It's adjustable up and down also. The one thing you'll notice is there are no load lifters on here. I personally haven't found a need or felt a need for the load lifters. It is a little concerning because I like load lifters, they make a big difference, but this thing sits on my back so well so far that I haven't felt a need for load lifters at all. When I put this on, this waist belt sits right at my navel, right where it should. The weight is perfectly on my hips, just like it should be. This back pad is a foam pad, and then inside of here, you have 2 aluminum stays that add a little bit of structure and stiffness to the back, so that it's not a total internal frame pack, but there is some structure there to kind of give it a frame. There's those aluminum stays. They slide right into these little pockets right here. And then this velcros down over the top of that. Inside you do have a mesh pocket for water bladder if you want it. If you look right here, there is a hole for the water bladder tube to come out. I don't use water bladders. I don't like water bladders. I think they're a pain in the butt. They're hard to clean. They're hard to get into your pack, hard to get out of your pack to refill. I would rather just carry smart water bottles or Nalgene's. I really carry 1 Nalgene and then 3 smart water bottles. And the reason I do the 1 Nalgene is it's easier to filter the water with that big wide open mouth. But then I don't want 4 Nalgene's worth of weight in my pack. So I do 1 Nalgene and 3 smart water bottles. That just seems to work for me. But yeah, you have the capability to use water bladder with the 4400 if you want. I don't really like water bladders, so I won't ever use those. I actually stick my mess kit down in that water bladder pocket inside the main pocket. Just for the record too, that little center pocket, the water bladder pocket that I'm calling it, its capacity is 300 cubic inches. So it's basically half the size of this external pocket, because this one is 600, so it's about half the size. Really, it's about the same width, it just doesn't have all of this expansion component to it. But one of my viewers asked, does it feel really big on you? It really doesn't. It actually almost feels like a day pack. Even when I have all this stuff that I have in it now, it still feels pretty lightweight. It doesn't feel like a 70-liter pack. And when you add this external pocket and everything else, this is really closer to an 80 or an 85-liter pack. And it doesn't feel like that at all. In fact, it feels smaller than my Osprey Atmos 65-liter pack. So, I mean, it's a huge, huge pack, which really concerned me at first. But the way it rides on my back, the way it carries the weight it is once you get it packed and fully rolled down, it doesn't feel like a 70-liter pack at all. I really, really like this pack. I cannot wait to get out and do an extended trip with it. I'm actually planning a short 2 or 3 day trip on the AT, the Appalachian Trail, coming up in June. So be watching for that trip video. But I am definitely going to be using my HMG Windrider 4400 for that trip, and I can't wait to give it a full test out. Like I said, this is really just a first look at this new pack for me. There aren't a lot of videos out there on the 4400, so I wanted to share what my first thoughts were on the 4400 with you guys. I hope you got something out of it. I know I've learned a lot about this pack just since getting it. Click that red subscribe button so you can keep up with all of our latest content, and I'd love a thumbs up on this video for the HMG 4400 Windrider. I look forward to seeing you in the real outdoors.